Council President, we are live on YouTube and we start in less than 1 minute.
All right, I have 7 o'clock. We'll be call this session of the Westland City Council order. Begin with the Pledge of Allegiance today, led by Council President Pro Tem Michael Londo.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Councilman Godbout.
Present.
Councilwoman Green.
Logging in remotely, present in Wayne County, Westland, Michigan.
Thank you. Councilman Godbout, I'll assume that you are as well.
I am present in Westland, Michigan, Wayne County for
Thank
the
you.
virtual meeting.
Thank you. Councilman Hersberg.
Here, attending from Westland, Wayne County, Michigan.
Pro Tem Londo.
Good evening. I am present attending in Wayne County, City of Westland, Michigan. Thank you.
Councilman McDermott.
Good evening, present and attending from Westland, Michigan in Wayne County.
Councilwoman Rakowski.
Good evening, present attending this meeting virtually from Wayne County, Westland, Michigan.
And President Hart.
Present attending from City of Westland, Wayne County, State of Michigan.
A quorum is present.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. One announcement today, just for everyone and everyone attending. The live transcript feature is now available in Zoom. So for those of our guests that are logged in and would like to use the live transcript feature, you'll see it down on the bottom of your screen, just right to the raise hand feature. If it's enabled, but you should see a live transcript button there. You can click on that and the closed captioning will appear, live transcriptioning on the bottom. So that is a new feature and we're happy to get that going. With that, we'll go ahead and move into comments on the agenda. This is reserved for the period of the meeting where citizens can speak for items specifically on the agenda. Any questions asked will be answered during the agenda item following a motion and support from the council. At this time, are there any questions or input on the agenda from the public? Phone number ending in 017. Are you there?
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
I can. Begin.
Thank you. This is Richard Graham from Westland and also with Move Westland Forward. Regarding the vouchers and specifically under executive and the cost of over $5,000 for Mayor Wild to participate in the U.S. Conference of Mayors. Pre-COVID, this cost taxpayers approximately $10,000 per year and even more when Mayor Wild brought his entourage like he did a few years ago. As an example, Deputy Mayor Reddy went during the former President Trump's inauguration week in DC. Only approximately 35% of mayors are members of this across the US and only approximately 40% in Michigan. And this is from their data. It appears many mayors do not consider this a good use of taxpayer money. Maybe have the mayor pay for this out of his pocket for next year's budget. What revenue streams has this brought Westland versus the money, time, and energy it takes to be part of this? Hopefully council is just not a rubber stamping what Mayor Wild wants to spend. Regarding item H on the consent calendar, would like to thank Fire Chief Stratner for his years of service to the residents of Westland and his retirement as Westland Fire Chief. His dedication was greatly appreciated. Now, as many of you know, the joint merger of Wayne Westland Fire Departments by Mayor Wild and then Fire Chief Reddy was pretty much a disaster overall for the taxpayers in Westland. Will be interesting to hear about this item on the agenda tonight. Also, congratulations to our new Fire Chief, James Morris. Great job testing so high that your score could not be beat by a ready family member and now has to wait 18 months to try again. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
All right. Next, I have Glenn Anderson speaking on the agenda. Glenn, are you speaking on the agenda item tonight? Glenn? Are you there?
Can you hear me?
We can now.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was not on an item on the agenda. I'm sorry. I just wanted to give an update. That's all.
Well, we're out of that section, Glenn, so I didn't know you were in the audience to do an update, so we'll probably have to postpone that, so thank you. Are there any other comments from the public on the agenda? Okay, we'll close citizens' comments on the agenda and move to the consent calendar. Is there a motion?
So move, Londo.
Motion by Councilman Londo. Is there support?
Support Rutkowski.
Supported by Councilwoman Rutkowski. Is there any discussion? Councilman Hertzberg.
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to request moving item H to new business for discussion purposes.
Is there support for Councilman Hertzberg's motion?
Support, McDermott.
Supported by Councilman McDermott. Is there any discussion on that motion? Roll call.
Councilman Godbout,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg,
Yes.
Councilman Londo,
Yes.
Councilman McDermott,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. H will be 1A.
Moving back to the consent calendar. Is there any other discussion? Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Godbout. You're muted, sir.
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg,
Yes.
Pro Tem Londo,
Yes.
Councilman McDermott,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Council has approved the following consent calendar items. Approval of minutes of the regular meeting held January 19, 2021. Approval of minutes of study session held January 19, 2021. Approval of purchase of replacement interceptor utility vehicle for the police department with an amount not to exceed $32,672. Introduction of budget amendments through December 31, 2020 for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2021. Adoption of ordinance 248A-102, an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Westland by amending section 110, 9.4 of Article 16 of Chapter 110 entitled CB1 Low Intensity Commercial Business District. Adoption of resolution accepting NYX Incorporated's long-term maintenance of stormwater management system and corresponding maintenance agreement. Adoption of the last item approved on the consent calendar, adoption of prepared land resolution. 2 parcels in the city of Westland, north side of Marquette, just west of Carlson. These were planning department number 2235, and the land division was approved by city council June 15, 2020.
Mr. Clerk?
Yes, sir.
If I could hold you right there, I'd like to give Commissioner Anderson his opportunity now to give us a legislative update in between the consent calendar and new business.
Thank you.
Glenn, are you there?
I'm here. Thank you.
Yep, go ahead and give us an update. It's important. So
Yeah.
I'm sure.
When I logged on, it appeared as though you were just starting the meeting. So by the time I got in. But anyway, I just wanted to give a real brief update. as most of you have probably received the word already, my discretionary fund for parks allocation from the parks millage for Westland has increased slightly to $44,766 for 2021 calendar year or budget year. And so my understanding is there's already a consideration of some things to use that money for, which I'm applaud anything we can do for recreation in Westland. The other issue is a little longer about the COVID vaccine update. Wanted to give a brief one. COVID-19 vaccinations have been progressing, but have been very limited by the supply of vaccines. Wayne County has switched from Pfizer to Moderna on new inoculations or new injections in order to preserve the short supply of Pfizer vaccine that's needed for the second injection for those who have had their first injection already of Pfizer. It's, as everyone probably knows, it's not recommended to mix the two vaccines, and that's why they're doing that. As the increased supply of Pfizer comes along, it'll probably be a combination of both for first-time vaccinations. Vaccinations for the over 65 group are currently being handled by the hospital health systems. All require the signups on their medical portals of those facilities, those systems. And most of you have probably heard that Meyer is accepting signups for vaccinations. When supplies improve, vaccinations should be available through CVS, Walgreens, and possibly even Walmart. Wayne County's allocation just this week doubled to over 4,000 doses. We were having very short supply and not even able to vaccinate all of the first responders even, and even the dental profession and other medical professions. The teachers are supposed to be starting this week getting their vaccinations, and that's going to be handled through RESA. And I believe they're getting a direct supply themselves. Supply of vaccine is expected to improve further when 2 more vaccines are approved, which may be a few more weeks off. But we will see the supply increase. But there's spot shortages all over the country, as everyone that's seen it on the news. For updates on vaccinations, everyone is encouraged to visit the county's website at waynecounty.com/COVID-19. And that's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Glenn. Glad we could get you in there in between. So thanks for the update. I appreciate that. Mr. Clerk, lead us into new business, please.
New business, item 1, approval of request for a closed study session, February 12, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. to discuss pending litigation.
So moved. Hersberg.
It's a motion by Hersberg. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Councilwoman Green. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Godbout,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg,
Yes.
Pro Tem Londo,
Yes.
Councilman McDermott,
yes,
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. New business, item 1A. Adoption of prepared resolution to terminate the interlocal agreement between the cities of Wayne and Westland for the sharing and consolidation of fire chief services.
So move, Londo.
Motion by Councilman Londo,
Support, Workowski.
supported by Councilman Rakowski. Councilman Londo, do you have any discussion?
Not yet, thanks.
Councilman Rakowski?
I'll reserve it at this point. Thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Councilman Hersberg?
Thank you, Council President. Yeah, I would just generally like an update on why we're doing this. We haven't heard anything. I didn't see any email from the administration on why we're getting out of this agreement. So if there's anybody that can provide any reasoning to why we should support this, I'd appreciate it. It didn't seem to me that sharing the chief was negatively affecting any services. So I would just like an explanation.
Mayor, did you want to address that?
Yeah, thank you, City Council President and council members. So council, if you remember back in 2012 was when we entered into an interlocal agreement with the city of Wayne to share a fire chief. And at the time it was when their former fire chief, Mike Reddy, retired from the city of Westland. So we entered into an interlocal agreement to for the two cities to share the services of Chief Reddy at the time. And with the chief retiring from the city, it was a way that we could save quite a bit of money, because on a promotional standpoint, the next chief would pick up all the benefits that the Chief Reddy would be able to receive through retirement. So it was a way to save money. To date, sharing a fire chief with the city of Wayne has saved us collectively, or saved Westland about $550,000. With Fire Chief Reddy's service, it saved us a lot more because we didn't have the benefit piece of it. With Chief Stratner, we saved basically Wayne picked up 75% of his salary, so we saved about $75,000 a year. But so why are we doing this? So originally when we set this up, I remind council is that Westland's an Act 78 city, so we do promotions through a testing process. Working with everybody at the table at that time, we were able to forego the Act 78 promotional process and share a fire chief. That was supposed to end when Fire Chief Reddy's service to the two communities ended. We were able to extend that when Chief Stratner came in. The unions were agreeable to it, and Wayne was agreeable to it as well. So with Chief Stratner's retirement, that basically brought the end of this interlocal agreement to an end. And at the same time, it looks like Chief Stratner will potentially be the new full-time chief in Wayne. So at the end of the day, with Wayne moving to a full-time chief, and with Westland looking back at this agreement, was originally we were just going to do it for Chief Reddy. We extended it for 4 more years, but with Chief Stratner retiring, we fell back to Act 78, and James Morris will be Westland's new fire chief starting, I believe, on February 8th. I met with him today, and that transition's been started, and there'll be communication going out to council, but I signed his promotional papers today in accordance with Act 78. So that's all I have.
Councilman McDermott?
Thank you, Council President, and thank you, Mayor, for the comments on that. Just a quick question in regards to our COVID-19 program here in the city of Westland. I know that Chief Stratner had been leading the effort on that. Is that expected to have continuity going over to Chief Morris as well? Correct?
Through the chair, yes, absolutely. Incoming Chief Morris will take on the duties of our COVID-19 emergency preparedness coordinator, and he's been in the loop, and he's continuing that transition. So we had a long talk about that today, and I think you're going to find that the new incoming chief's a sharp guy, and I think he's going to do a great job for us.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Is there any other discussion from the council? Councilman Hertzberg.
Thank you. Through the chair, just back to the mayor. Did we reach out to Chief Morris about potentially taking on the position with both cities, or I still feel that it would be cheaper. Wayne is covering half the costs of the chief's position. So we're not going to be realizing that savings anymore. I'm just trying to understand where this broke down and the decision was made to for both cities to go on their own.
Mr. Fasson?
If I can, through the chair, it was mentioned by the mayor, but I just want to highlight it because it goes to the councilman's question. This joint chief arrangement was also required to have union approval to get here. It obviously impacted promotion lists by holding somebody in over a position such as that. So there's sort of three parties and at least three parties involved in this decision. I've had the opportunity to talk with the city attorney for the city of Wayne, which is clearly on board with the termination of the agreement after the 8-year period, which was longer than anybody thought it was going to last.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other discussion? All right, seeing none, roll call.
Councilman Godbout,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg,
Yes.
Pro Tem Londo,
Yes.
Councilman McDermott,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. New business, item 2, approval of voucher.
Is there a motion?
So moved, Londo.
Got a motion by Councilman Londo. Is there support?
Support.
Support from Councilman Godbout. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Godbout,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg,
Yes.
Pro Tem Londo,
Yes.
Councilman McDermott,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We now move to input and comments from the public. Everyone speaking before the council should do so in a civil manner. Speakers shall refrain from abusive or profane remarks, vulgar language, disruptive outbursts, threats, racial slurs, or other conduct that interferes with the orderly conduct of the business meeting. Personal attacks on council members, the administration, city staff, other speakers, or members of the public will not be tolerated. The clock will start upon the first words of the speaker and will not stop while the speaker is recognized from the floor. It is the speaker's option to ask questions at this time, and the person questioned may choose to respond during the speaker's allotment of time. The clock will not be stopped once it is started. I have my first hand raised from Dan Stachow. Dan, are you there?
Yes, I am. Dan Stachow, City of Westland. I just wanted to reach out to everybody and comment on the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. tribute that was put together by WLND and the city, and just wanted to let Craig Welkenbach and his crew know that they've done a fantastic job with that. And it was probably one of the best jobs done on that day. Thanks again.
Thank you, Dan. All right, next we have Denise Sedman. Denise, let's see here. Denise, are you there?
All right, am I on? Am I
You
on
are
now?
now. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. I have two questions, and I think the first one will be to Councilman Hart. Are you going, not you personally, but is the city going to be publishing the strategic planning session that happened Saturday? Are you going to be publishing that on WLND?
If you are, I'll answer these questions during my comments for you.
Okay, and then the second question I have is I cannot for the life of me find the Zoom link, and I wish it was on the agenda page because I look all over for it, and then I have to go to Move Westland Forward to find the link because they have it front and center, and I just cannot find it. So if you can figure out a place to put it where dummies like me can find it, that'd be appreciated. And I also agree with the other person who called in, thought the video for Martin Luther King Jr. Day was a wonderful presentation. And I was really surprised at Huel Perkins' story. That really was a good story. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. All right, next I have phone number ending in 017.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can.
Richard Graham again, from Westland and also with Move Westland Forward. A few items. I read a Facebook post today by Councilwoman Green. She is providing her cell phone number for any Westland resident with a disability or senior citizen, and she will hand deliver masks because of COVID. I found that very compassionate, and thank you, Councilwoman, to your dedication to the community in doing that. Does anyone know why the city or council, apologies, I wrote this up earlier. Per the last person's comments, I asked this at the strategic study session with no answer from anybody on council, including the council president or mayor, about putting that on YouTube so residents can be more informed. They can stay aware of what's going on in their city that they're paying taxes for. So it'll be very interesting to hear what the comment is on that today that wasn't given on Saturday. Does anyone know, or does anyone have any information about the Winchester Consulting Group out of Northville, Michigan? It appears this company had intimate knowledge of various aspects of the city of Westland and appears to have run the city's public relations. I recently did a FOIA looking for more information, and it came back with no information available, but it is clear they were involved with Mayor Wild and others within the city. Lastly, is there anyone that can comment if the city is paying Deputy Mayor Reddy's legal fees, or does he have his own attorney? This is specifically regarding a case in the U.S. District Court. And that is it for tonight. Thank you very much. And one last thing, great seeing you, Mayor Wild. I think that's 3 meetings in a row this year. I'm not quite sure when you've hit those 3 meetings in a row to start a year. It's probably been quite a few years. So good to see you in the first 3 meetings. I guess it must be an election year. Take care. Thank you.
All right, next I have, looks like Blake Perry. Blake, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I will respect the rules that you made for your meeting. I sent the email out to the council members and the mayor regarding a garbage disability project. I would really like to work with whoever city council, the mayor, to actually be able to do this. If you looked it over, if you did not, if you look through the city's disability ordinance under proposed purpose, section 54-81, it will actually state that the city is to engage services with people with disabilities. So people who use services in Westland are people with disabilities and not without disabilities. So I think that we have to really start using our ordinance and people with disabilities. I mean, this is a passionate thing. I've done this a lot. My colleagues have voted me in. I've done policies. I have actually brought the Michigan DD Council to the city of Westland. Worked very hard between the Self-Advocates of Michigan, the DD, the Self-Advocates of Michigan, which I'm the vice chair. I with the Michigan DD Council, as well as the Youth Commission and the library, to provide an event that talked about people with disabilities and the struggles. It was a very nice event. I just feel that I have a lot of skills, and I just think that maybe I'm being misunderstood over other issues, but I just feel I really want to be there to communicate with working on different issues within our city. As many people know, I'm very good within public policy. I have actually created 2 public policy platforms, and I read the ordinance daily, looking at all of these service policies that go on, and I just want to actually put that use to work. If you could you at the given time, could you reply on the letter that I sent? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next we have Kevin Caldwell. Kevin, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. Please proceed.
Hey, good evening, Council. Kevin Caldwell, Westland Professional Firefighters, I'm the Vice President of our local. I just want to take a moment to congratulate Chief Stratner in his retirement. He's always been good to us. He over 26 years of service to the city of Westland, and he's been a joy for us as far as the last time as chief. And I just want to take a moment to congratulate him from our local. So thank you, Chief. Appreciate it, and enjoy your retirement. You deserve it. That's it.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right. Are there any other comments from the public at this time? Are there any other? I have Mr. Owner Arthur. Arthur? Arthur, are you there?
Okay, I'm here now.
We hear you.
Okay, speaking as the president of the Southeast Westland Homeowners Association, I've been approached by a reporter to do a news article on the historical development of Annapolis Park. In my research, I went over to the master plan and I saw a glowing article about the North Wayne community and its focus and the role that it had played in the development of Westland. But I saw nothing in regards to the Southeast Westland and Annapolis Park, nothing at all. Although the Annapolis Park community received its historical designation in 2006, and the North Wayne community received this designation 7 years later in 2013. So I would just like to have those individuals on that steering committee. In other words, that would be Councilperson James Godbout, Councilperson Jim Hart, and Councilperson Mike Landau, along with the Neighborhood Services Director, Hassan, and the Community Development Director, Ms. Joanne Campbell, and the Planning President of the Planning Commission to get on with me to let me know why that was omitted. And the only reference to the Southeast Homeowners Association as if it's just a park. Item 15 on page 63. You have a pretty well description of North Wayne. You even have a map of where it is. And as if the Afro-American community has provided nothing to the city of Westland. And I just need to know why that's omitted before I do this newspaper article. So if you can get on with me, this newspaper article is to be done by February 10th. So these individuals could get on with me and let me know why that was omitted. And what we would like to do is have our history admitted into that master plan, but we're gonna write our history, not the city of Westland, because we know our history a lot better than those particular writers at this particular point. So if you can just get on with me, and so we can get that cleared up, so I don't have to, so I can put down with your thoughts instead of my assumptions of why it's not there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Are there any other comments from the public? All right, we'll close comments from the public and move to the comments to the administration. Mayor?
All right. Thank you, Council. So just a few quick things tonight. First of all, I want to thank retiring Fire Chief Mike Stratner for his service and dedication to the citizens of Westland. This will be Chief Stratner's last city council meeting with us here tonight. So I appreciate him being here. And I know that the city of Wayne will be looking at offering him full-time employment tomorrow night in their council meeting. So if that works out well, and I assume that it'll be nice to have Chief Stratner just down the road from us. And Wayne Westland has always had a great relationship at the city level and at the fire level. So it's nice to know that he's going to still be right down the street from us. Council, thank you for attending the Saturday strategic planning session on finance. I think it was a good meeting. We covered a lot of ground. Some of the stuff was historical, and we ended up looking down the road. So our next strategic planning session, we're working on exactly the date and time and what the topic's going to be. I think infrastructure was up next, but we're going to take a look this week to see which one we'll be prepared for next, since February is a short month. I'll talk with the council president, and we'll figure out a way. There was a lot of good information, and I'm not sure if what we did that day, if we can get that online, but at the very least, what I was thinking is that we could get Steve Smith and Dan Block perhaps on WLND and just walk through the presentation to the public, because I think there is a lot of good information. The next thing is Mr. Warren's questions about the master plan. So Mo could certainly answer this a little bit better than me, but the master plan, which was updated a few years ago, had a couple sub plans that were in it that we had the folks that did our master plan also do some small area plans. One of them was for some work within Norwayne, and the other was for some future work at the historical site. So as far as the master plan, there was no sub plan that we paid to have them do for Annapolis Park. And the master plan's not the place to look for the historical stuff. I am curious to see what we have at the historical village park as far as Annapolis Park and the Southeast homeowners. That's potentially a display that needs to be beefed up. And the folks that were on the historical commission at the time, I know that they really worked hard to help make that neighborhood on the historical register. And I know Ruth Dale spent a lot of time on that, and I'm not sure if she did it as part of the historical commission or she did it on her own, but all that stuff is still available. So we'll build it out. If that didn't answer your question, Mr. Warren, we can talk more on the phone on that tomorrow. Just the last thing is February, actually the last couple things. February is Black History Month. I kicked off today with Gatherings Limited. The programs from the Westland Library that they had planned for Black History Month will be virtual. WLND will be airing programs all month long that focus on unique contributions that African Americans have made. And our city's Facebook page will call attention to prominent African Americans throughout the month. And I know Craig's working on a video too that's going to have recognition for African American elected officials that have and city employees that have played a role in our city's history. And then the last thing is just on behalf of myself, my family, everybody here at the City of Westland, we just want to send our deepest condolences to Councilman James Galbout and his wife Sandy in this time. It's a sad time for their family, and all of us need to gather around the Galbouts, put our arms around them, and be there for them. And we're certainly here for you, Jim. So anything that we can do for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Anything from the Attorney's Office today?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Three quick things. First, I want to say to Chief Stratner, congratulations on your retirement and moving forward on the next chapter. The fire chief and the police chief and the other department heads often have to work with the law department on challenging and unique issues. And certainly, Chief, you had those, and we worked our way through those, and we appreciate your professionalism when we had to tackle those kind of challenging and unique issues. Second up, want to let the citizens of Westland know that Keith Madden recently passed away. Keith spent about 30 years working in and for the city of Westland, both as an employee, as the HR director, as the assistant city attorney, both in Angelo Plakos's firm and mine. And Keith was a keeper of a lot of history in his brain, and a really bright guy, and he will be missed. And then finally, to Jim and Sandy Godbout, the general and I send our prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Move to City Council comments. Begin tonight with Councilman Hertzberg.
Thank you, Council President. Just a couple quick comments tonight. I'll also thank Chief Stratner for his service. It was always great to work with him. From my experience, watching from the council perspective, he was always very responsive. No matter who you were, he worked with everybody. And I think we all appreciated that. Just a comment, Ms. Sedman did bring it up in her comments about the Zoom link here. I actually did get a complaint right before the meeting started that people weren't able to get the link. I tried it on my cell phone through the city website and it did not work. You click the calendar, you click the link to the city council meeting, and the Zoom link didn't show up. Nothing worked. So there are some people having problems. The person who called me was actually the chairman of our Disability Concerns Board, Ray Schuholtz. I was trying to help him get on the meeting. He had some updates that he wanted to share, but we'll try to get him on next time. But he did ask me to pass along best wishes to Chief Stratner, and he says that he wishes you a good retirement. With that, I'll see you all in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Councilwoman Green.
Thank you. I'd like to start by, just as a friendly reminder to our residents, our Wayne County Executive Warren Evans donated previously 20,000 disposable masks to the city of Westland. Most recently, Wayne County donated 50,000 cloth washable masks. So if there are any Westland residents who are disabled or senior citizens who are unable to safely obtain face masks, you can give me a call via my cell phone at 734-828-7010, and I would be happy to do a doorstep delivery for you. Again, that's 734-828-7010. In terms of the question that was posed by one of our disability advocates, Blake Perry. Blake, I did receive your email. I thought it was a very good email. The question that you raised regarding the city of Westland working on establishing a program with the disability community for the recycling or rubbish removal here in Westland, I think is a very good idea. Unfortunately, that is something that will be decided by the mayor, but your request has been in writing, so there is a paper trail, and I look forward to seeing what the mayor's response will be to that request. I'd like to also thank Chief Stratner for his service, and I wish you well as you go on to your newest position in the city of Wayne. As Mayor Wiles stated, I would also like to offer condolences to Council Member Gabout on his recent loss. So you and your family have already been lifted in my prayers, and I, wish you all the best through during this time. There was also a comment relative to the master plan, the exclusion of one portion of our city that happens to be the Annapolis Park area that is occupied or was occupied, or actually still is, set up over 60 years ago before Westland actually became a city, but it's a area of housing that was put in place for Black veteran and military families at that time who could not safely find housing in this country due to discriminatory and racist laws that prevented Black people from living in certain areas without the risk of just all types of terrors, even up to death. So Annapolis Park is an area of our city that was classified, that received historical classification, I believe, from the state of Michigan. There is no local classification that I'm aware of at this point. However, in terms of the master plan, that particular meeting is one that I adamantly asked to attend when it took place. And I was actually barred as a new city council member from attending that meeting, even as a guest, by executive members of the mayor's administration. This has all been documented. The engineering company who was directly involved with assisting with the planning for the newest master plan, OHM, one of their executives documented that they were told by the mayor's administration not to even give me the time to attend the meeting, the time or the location, to have a voice and representation, or to even be present at that meeting, which was actually illegal. And again, all of this has been documented that this occurred. This, like the Diversity Commission, is one of several instances in which either the mayor directly, members of his administration, or even several city council members who were also involved in that at that time. The prior council president was very instrumental in not providing information to me and actually giving me false information regarding the master plan meeting. I say all that to say this is just speaks to the importance of diversity and inclusion and having representation at the table. Because when you have other people speaking for you and telling your story and giving their perspective on what matters, what is important to you may not even be documented. It may not come to the table at all. When you look at the officials on this meeting, it reflects even more of the need for diversity in our city, because there are certain people in areas of our city, regardless of race, that continue to feel left out, particularly the south side of our city, especially when it comes to financial investment and economic pushes for business development and things of that nature. You see more of that happening on certain side of the town, certain side of our town, which coincidentally, most of the elected officials reside at. And so in terms of Annapolis Park being excluded, who's to say whether it was intentional or non-intentional? But I do know that that was a meeting that I repeatedly asked to be at, to attend as a guest, as an elected councilwoman, and was denied that opportunity again by the previous council president, the mayor, and executive members of his administration, along with Attorney Falzone, who was involved and kept in the loop in terms of everything that occurred at that time. So I would just express, if you, as the saying goes, if you are not at the table, you will definitely be on the menu. And that is what continues to happen, unfortunately, in our city. And so this is once again an election year, and I encourage people to get out, get involved, and make sure that your representatives are representing you. Thank you.
Councilman Gadbout.
Thanks. Chief Stratner, thank you for your years of service to the fire service in the city of Westland. You've done a great job as the chief. You've been a great friend over the years, and you're going to be missed. I know Jim Morris will do a great job as our new chief, but congratulations, best of luck in your retirement, quote unquote. But best of luck in everything that you do in the future. I want to apologize for my casual attire this evening. Things have been a little outside of normal these past few days. I want to thank everyone who's reached out to my entire family and offered their sympathy and support over the loss of our son, Matt. I can't express how much it means to all of us. Matt will live on in our hearts and minds in eternity. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim. Councilwoman Urkowski.
Sorry. Sorry. I had an opportunity to call Councilman Godbout and express my sympathies, so I won't get into a long dialogue, and I certainly can't right now. I just continue to pray for your family. Chief Stratner, it's always sad to see you going. Thank you for your dedicated service to our community and our community at large. Your leadership has been recognized and well received from not only here, but from the communities around us. And I know you will continue to do fantastic things in your next venture. And I'd also like to congratulate and thank incoming Chief Morris. I'm sure he has large boots to fill, but I believe he will be up for it, and looking forward to the continued leadership of our fire department. For citizens who may lack food access or accessibility, I'm sorry, I can't pull it together. There's a Gleaners distribution next Tuesday, the 9th, at Jefferson Barnes from 9 a.m. to 11. You don't have to bring any ID. You don't have to fill out anything, but you will get a 30-pound box of a variety of food items, fresh food, produce, and lean proteins, as well as some prepared, shelf-stable foods. Sorry. And with that, I thank you. Good evening.
Thank you. Councilman McDermott.
Well, good evening. I too would like to start out by thanking Chief Stratner for his years of service, many years of service here for us in the city of Westland. He will be missed. I'm confident, and we know that incoming Chief Morris will do a phenomenal job for us. But the reason that we've been able to have such stable footing, and whether it's through COVID or whether it's through our fire department, is because of the leadership of Chief Stratner. And I know that the city of Wayne is getting a really phenomenal chief should he be approved tomorrow night at their council meeting. So thank you for your many years of service and dedication. Our city is certainly a significantly better place because we had Chief Stratner's leadership in the fire department. So thank you, Chief, for that. Again, it was mentioned that the library is engaging in Black History Month, and there are virtual programs that I would encourage everybody to participate in and take a look at. There's a wonderful, rich history that the library is promoting here throughout the month of February. So I would encourage everybody to go to the City of Westland's library website to check out some of the virtual programs that are going on for Black History Month. In regards to the question about the this past weekend's meeting, if we do have that, I don't know if that was recorded or not by Craig Brown and IT, and I'll certainly be willing to send an email about this tomorrow. But if we, potentially have that available to, post online, there have been a number of residents who've reached out to myself, and we've seen here at the meeting tonight who have requested the ability to, watch that meeting retroactively if they weren't able to attend on Saturday for the strategic planning session. And then, I'll end certainly tonight with a heavy heart. Certainly my thoughts, my prayers go out to Councilman Godbout, my colleague, and his family, his wife, Sandy, and Matt's wife, Maria. Certainly it's a terrible and trying time. And my thoughts, my prayers, my heart goes out to Councilman Godbout and his family during this very difficult time. So we're thinking of you, Jim. We're thinking of your family, and hope you guys can take care of yourselves and get through this as best you can. Take care.
Thank you, Councilman. Next, we have Council President Pro Tem Michael Londo.
Thanks, President Hart. Thank you to IT first for the IT department for setting up the closed captioning for our meetings. It's on YouTube and on the Zoom platform, so we appreciate you doing that for us. Also, thank you to Plant Moran, the Westland Finance team, and the mayor and his administration for all the hard work and the material that they brought forward up for the presentation for our strategic planning session that we had Saturday. I thought it went really well. It's really good to see kind of where we went. They went back as far as 2003 to see kind of where the city was, kind of some of the moves that were made over the years long before our time, and kind of looking towards the future as well. So we really appreciate Plant Moran and Team Westland Finance for everything they did. Today was an exciting day. Reopening of restaurants for dine-in service today. I know I was out first thing this morning getting breakfast in one of our local Westland establishments. So I do want to leave a few things for folks. Got it on my notes here. Just when you're going out to these restaurants, just remember they've been closed for 75 days. So when you go in there, just be patient with them. Be patient with the restaurants and their employees as they're reopened for indoor dining. Follow all the guidelines and policies that are posted at the restaurant, whether you agree with them or not. It's not their fault. Don't argue with the restaurant employees about the guidelines and policies. And don't forget to wear your mask when you're walking in. We're going to get through this COVID thing at one point. Again, it's not the restaurant's fault. They've been closed down for a really long time, and they need our support when you're going out to see them. Many thanks to Chief Stratner. I know I spoke here this morning or this afternoon. Appreciate your service, your many years of dedicated service to protecting my hometown and all of our residents. Chief Stratner will be known as a firefighter's firefighter, someone who always fought for the men and women under his command, and someone who ensured they received the best training and equipment possible to help ensure their safety and the safety of our residents. So congratulations on your retirement, even though you're moving on to a new role. We wish you nothing but the best moving forward, and grateful for your service and your leadership. And as mentioned, with his retirement, that leaves very big shoes to fill. But thankfully, we have one of the best fire departments in the state, and our firefighters have a reputation for stepping up when the call is served. I'm looking forward to our incoming chief, James Morris, on seeing his vision for the future for the department as we continue to move through these tough times. Last couple things, I know I reached out to Councilman Gabout as well, but my sincere condolences to you and your family, you and Sandy and your entire family on the loss of your son. I can't imagine the pain you're going through. I just felt, I sent you a text. I wanted to call you, but I felt like you had a lot going on. As someone that lost somebody close, you want to talk to everybody, but you also kind of want your space. So I'm here, Jim. Anytime you need something, please reach out. Even after the meeting, if you want to just chat, just give me a call. But like I said, I thought it was important to give you your space and your privacy. And when you're ready to speak, you would. So that's all I got tonight, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Begin tonight by thanking Councilman Londa for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Also thank Plant Moran and the Westland Finance team for a good study session over the weekend. I'll address the questions real quick. First one, the Zoom link. So IT's on the call here. So there's a bunch of feedback over the Zoom link. So IT, if you could take a look at that, work at that, make it as painfully easy as possible. Follow the Steve Jobs model. You don't have to click twice to do anything, and even easier. So we do have some feedback. It's not positive. So let's just kind of take a look at it and see if we can make it easier. As far as airing the study sessions, the council policies and procedure, it is in Article 6, Section 5. For airing the study sessions. Now that's airing, it's kind of mute on recording. I think what we need to do is kind of take a look at our policies and procedures. COVID and the advent of Zoom has created a condition that's never occurred before. So I think our policies and procedures might need to be freshened up to kind of bring us into a current state of affairs. So I see that since we've done this before, and the toothpaste is out of the tube so much with remote meetings, I think it might be an option as we move forward in the future for whatever situations that may avail us. So I think we need to look at our policies and procedures too to fix that. And I'll go on record, say I have no issue airing study sessions. I think it's perfectly fine. I have no issue with it. There's been a couple times I wish we did, because there was a couple doozies said in a couple that I wish everybody else got to hear. So no issue with it. So council, you guys know what to do to address the issue. So let's address the issue and look at the policies and procedures, fix it. I will say that once we're back in person, televising is going to be a lot more difficult too. So just keep that in mind. It's actually easier to televise and record these now, the study session, than we are in person. So we kind of have to look at the mechanics behind that. So keep that in mind. If you guys want to deliberate over that in an appropriate group and bring something forward, policies lay out how to address it. So follow the policies and we'll address it. As far as the master plan, that was a shock. So Art, happy to sit down and talk to you. I remember when I was looking at the master plan, I remember we were focused on development. I wasn't really looking at the history. We were talking about development, our study sessions the breakout sessions and the public meetings we had. It was all about development and future and where do you see these other segments going, and what about our shop and dine. So I don't remember ever talking about history. So if something was omitted, I assure you it wasn't by design. But nonetheless, happy to sit down and talk to you, see what you're talking about, and kind of figure it out together. So, Jim, I sound like a broken record, but I reached out to you early. I'll just say again, same thing I've said to you before. Londell said the same way. I've suffered a lot of grief in my life, and everybody grieves differently. You know, some people are out in public. Some people really withdraw. But I always give it the person's option to how they grieve. So that's why I don't inundate you with any kind of messages. But do know that your family is definitely in our prayers. Lynn and I have been devastated. We have children. You know, Richard's not too much younger than Matt. So it really puts things into perspective for us. So we are hugging our kids tighter. So Matt did that for us for sure. So, and I think that's important that we all do. I don't want to, I'll fall apart if I keep going on that, but you're in our prayers, and damn it, it sucks. Okay. Wow. Last thing I'll do is I'm gonna thank Stradner for all your years of service. And Chief Stradner, I'm gonna do something unique tonight. I'm going to let you go ahead and address the council as then close this meeting out. Tell us what you think. Here's your chance to air your grievances or whatever you want to say. And just to address everyone. And then when you're all said, just wave off and I'll call for an adjournment. So Chief, the floor is yours.
All right, no grievances to air tonight. I've had the pleasure of serving the city for 26 years. I thank council tonight for all your kind words. And you know, Attorney Fasone, I realized very quickly into my career how important a relationship was with council, and certainly with the attorney's office, whether that's under fortune or misfortune. But you know, I certainly want to thank the firefighters in this community and the community of Wayne. You know, they're some of the most dedicated people I've ever had the pleasure to work with. My staff in the admin office, I want to thank. The police department, the police chief, I know Deputy Chief Brian Miller's on the line. I've had a great relationship with the police department. All the department heads, the city clerk, the Civil Service Commission. We created you a lot of headaches over the last year with all the changes we made. But one of the things that was important is, despite COVID, we had to keep this city moving forward. And I certainly want to thank the mayor, the deputy mayor, and the mayor's staff for all your help over the years. And most of all, to the residents for allowing me to serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Happy trails. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Support.